I was not sure if making a long and super in-depth video on the Asus P1511 laptop is going to be worth it or not, so I made a short one, because I can. Hey everyone, Mukul here. Now, not everyone wants a super pumped up or expensive laptop, and that can be due to many reasons. It can be due to budget constraints or you knowing what your specific use case is, and all you need is a light performance laptop, and by that choice save a lot of money. Well, by the end of this review, there are chances that you might not end up buying this laptop, so I will make sure to post some affiliate links of the other laptops which in my opinion might perform better than this Asus variant. So yeah, make sure to check them out. The Asus P1511 is an extremely budget-focused laptop, and many of you might be thinking if it's good enough for basic office work or for your kids who want to study on a Windows machine. The specs of it are quite fine for this budget actually. The Intel i3-1115 G4 is a 2-core 4-threads SoC with Intel UHD graphics on it, so the graphic power is onboard. The laptop comes with 8GB onboard RAM with one extra slot if you want to extend the RAM on the laptop. And for storage, a 256GB NVMe and 1TB 5400 RPM hard drive. Overall, the performance of the NVMe drive was decent and the system booted up quite promptly, which to be honest was a surprise. The 15.6-inch display is just 1366 by 768, but weirdly the scaling and the sort of workspace it provides at 100% scaling was just fine. The text and the icons in the workspace didn't seem too huge, as almost no pixels over the icons were visible even when I tried to stare at the screen up close. But the colors on the screen weren't anything to be impressed by. The screen is quite desaturated and the viewing angles are pretty bad. I will say at best the screen quality is extremely average or just below average. I mean, the screen on this is so average that you shouldn't even attempt to review any sort of images or pictures on it, as they will look extremely off if you compare the same picture on any of the budget smartphones even. The brightness is decent for indoors, but the 200 nits won't like outdoors. So you should definitely avoid going out with the laptop and better find a human to go out with and stop going out with laptops. The laptop has a sleek and nice design, but the build overall is full of plastic, but it is quite rigid, which is good. But yeah, the laptop does feel pretty heavy. Being a 1.80 kilogram laptop, it is certainly not a laptop your lap might love. And yes, it does open up perfectly with one hand, which was honestly quite surprising. I guess you gotta thank that weight somewhere at least. The selection of the ports is also fine, but sadly there is no Ethernet port on the laptop despite its size and weight. But the Wi-Fi connectivity responded great on it. It is quite snappy as it connected to my Wi-Fi quite instantly. I was able to get a decent 90 Mbps download speed on Steam at 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency at about 30 feet from my router. The keyboard layout is complete with numpad keys too. The keys are typical chiclet kind and typing on them feels like any laptop keys you would find on most of the budget laptops. But there is enough palm rest for comfortable typing for longer hours. The trackpad supports general gestures, and I would say its quality is also okay considering the budget, of course. What's really freaking impressive about the laptop though is the speakers setup on it. There are two mini drivers and one larger driver on its base, and I guess this one is responsible for the bass coming off of it. For the price the laptop falls into, the speaker just might be one of its strongest suits. Managing a bit of bass with the kind of loudness it manages, well, to be honest, it's quite impressive. What's really poop is the webcam though, and it's one of the worst webcams I have seen on a laptop for a long time. Don't let the image on its webpage fool you, as it records at a mere 640 by 480 resolution, which is now unheard of for many years. So right now there's an AC switched on, which is a little far from where I'm sitting, and I would have to say that the webcam quality is extremely low tier. Nothing impressive here, and I'm recording this just to show you how the microphone behaves as I record this video. So yeah, nothing much to say about this. The mic reception is good though. As the laptop wasn't mine, I didn't have the privilege to open it and check the heat pipes, etc. But I did some tests just to check how the laptop performs thermally. But anyway, it won't be easy for an average user to remove the base of the laptop, so differ from doing so if you fall in that category. You need to have some sort of prior experience, or you need to be a professional to be able to open the base of this laptop easily. So the average temperatures throughout the general usage when the laptop was on battery stayed around 49 degrees Celsius, when the room temperature was about 29.2 degrees C, but the max temperature throughout this test was about 80 degrees Celsius, which really shows the laptop isn't meant for heavy kind of workloads. The laptop managed to run Counter-Strike after a lot of thermal throttling, as the game lagged like hell for the first 5 minutes at least. And once the thermal throttling was introduced and the overall clocks dropped drastically, then only I was able to manage some sort of gameplay from the laptop at around 25 to 30 FPS. The average effective clocks throughout this gaming test dropped from 3 GHz to 2.1 GHz, showing how bad the laptop actually thermal throttles the CPU. As the laptop is clearly not being marketed as something you can game on, I really can't blame them here for the bad performance, but good to see it can somehow still manage some sort of gameplay on it. What was good and a bit of surprising to me at least was that on both the battery and the charging mode, with the performance slider maxed out, the performance of the laptop didn't vary much at all. Unlike how other laptops with of course better processors do. I guess the Intel i3-1115G4 doesn't really have anything to cut anything from it in terms of performance. So yeah, finally an advantage of using a mediocre processor on a laptop. Yay! The total battery performance for a typical task won't cross more than 3.5 hours for the whole day, as the 37 Watt-hour 2-cell battery really can't push it more. The total charging time for the laptop is about 1.5 hours, which is pretty decent, and the charger supplied is pretty compact and lightweight. The MyAsus app shows a bunch of stuff like battery status and setting up fan or mic profiles. These different mic profiles and AI cancellation do really work, so do give them a try, even though I'm pretty sure it's not AI related in any way. Apart from that, you can also adjust the color profiles on the screen, but pretty sure that's not going to improve anything on the screen here. The best feature which I really dig is the link to MyAsus option, which lets you control your whole phone via the laptop or your laptop via the phone. This also lets you make or drop calls and do a bunch of other stuff. I have found it to be easier to set up than Microsoft Your Phone app, and this also has a lot of features too. So yeah, if your priorities on a laptop isn't a good screen or a good webcam, then this laptop should be able to pull a decent performance for your daily day-to-day office tasks or for your kids to study on without any issues. For the price of 37,000 rupees, it really has a decent set of hardware on it, inclusive of a NVMe drive, a 1TB hard drive and 8GB of RAM, which runs at 2666 MHz with a great set of speakers on it. But really, apart from that, there is nothing I can truly praise about the laptop, and the bad thermal performance by the puny 2-core Intel chip even for common tasks, well, it does worry me a bit. You should definitely buy a cheap webcam later, as that cheap webcam will any day perform better than the webcam this laptop has. So you have to make that investment if you are going for this laptop, and video calls is something which you need to do a lot. So the webcam can be replaced, but the screen can't be replaced by the 99.99999% of the consumers who end up buying this laptop. So be aware of that. So yeah, that's about it for this laptop. I will post the affiliate links of this and the other few options in the description below. The other options which I think might perform just better than this laptop offerings from this Asus variant. You can also hop on to a Discord server for more chit chats on relevant content. Stay safe humans, stay in budget. That's all for today. MewBot out.